We're joined now by Dr. Amanda Silva, our OSU Extension small grain specialist, with some exciting news. We have released a new wheat variety. It's called Orange Blossom CL Plus, and Amanda is here to tell us all about it.
Yes, we are very excited about this new release. So as you indicated with the name, so it has the CL Plus in its name, so just indicating that Orange Blossom is part of the varieties with a herbicide tolerance, so for the Clearfield system, so similar to double stop.
So talking about the parentage, that really plays into this and some of the traits that you've observed in your role as a state specialist in your field trials over the years. Kind of talk about some of those traits that will be intriguing to our audience.
Sure, yes. Orange Blossom, one of its unique aspects is its common, or it's having double stop as its parent. So about 66% they share in common, so they have in common genetics. And one of the most intriguing things that we've seen with this variety, looking at it in the variety trials across so many years, is especially last year was its very good resistance to stripe rust disease. So last year we had an issue with stripe rust in the state, and we could see in the plots this variety being one of the greenest varieties in the plots, and that was due to its great resistance, strong resistance to stripe rust disease.
And what are some of the other traits that you've kind of noted in your field research over the years?
So one of the things that farmers will see is it, as I said, because of its common genetics with double stop, so it will resemble double stop in some aspects, like acid soils tolerance. Would say test weight is either equal or better than double stop. Protein and quality is not as good as double stop. It's still good. Protein is still good, but it's not as good. It's not going to be a double stop level of good. And grain yield, when we evaluated last year across the state, we saw that it was actually very similar to one of the also latest releases from OSU high cotton. So yeah, so that's a quick summary on that. But on other traits, one of the things that I mentioned is its strong resistance to stripe rust, but farmers should also know that this variety does not have any resistance to soil-borne mosaic virus. It has not been a problem in the state. Lately, it used to be a problem, but it's just a piece of information that farmers need to keep in mind when thinking about this variety. And it's a very tall variety, so we saw it last year, but we did not see any issues with lodging. We could see it happening in low ground areas, maybe with a lot of wind or lots of nitrogen, but we haven't seen any issues with that. But farmers should know it's a very tall variety.
A lot of our producers in Oklahoma have dual purpose systems and like to kind of keep track of that aspect of it. What have you observed there?
Yes, that is a very important aspect for our state, and a very important for our varieties to be able to be grazed and harvested. And so Orange Blossom has done well in our forage trials under grazing systems. One of the things that we evaluated this year was with the first hollow stem. So we simulated grazing and then measured first hollow stem after for different varieties. And Orange Blossom was one of the latest varieties to reach first hollow stem under that simulated grazing system, indicating that farmers could gain a few more weeks of grazing later in the winter, which we all know how much more profitable that is.
There's another trait with Orange Blossom that you also like.
Yes, so one of the things that we saw this year in our tests was the coleoptile length. Especially for the Clearfield varieties, we realized, and well, we noticed that the Clearfield trait is bringing something in its background that is making those varieties with the Clearfield trait to have longer coleoptile, and that is one aspect of orange blossom, and that means that farmers could plant a little bit deeper if they wanted to reach moisture at planting. So it just gives that flexibility also for our producers.
And does this variety, how does it grow better in certain parts of the state, or is it pretty wide geographic area that it's performing and demonstrating these traits that you've mentioned?
Yes, so when conducting that statewide analysis that I mentioned to you earlier, orange blossom did really well and was one of the top 3 yielding varieties across the state, so I expect it to be adapted across different areas in our state.
Do we think that it might be in demand as once people get through harvest and they start making seed decisions for fall this year? Do we think this one might be in demand, and will there be seed available?
Yes, there will be seed available in, this fall, and so if farmers are wanting to try out this year, there will be availability for that.
And you're part of the Wheat Improvement Team. We've talked extensively with Dr. Carver in the past few weeks about the very specific research and that piece of it, but the extension part of it is really important too, and getting these varieties through the pipeline and out of these nurseries, right, where you guys look at them for years. What does that extension piece look like, and how do you work directly with those scientists in the lab?
Yeah, so our piece on that is actually getting all this information on the characteristics of these varieties across the state. So as we have the plots in different locations in our state, we learn a lot about these varieties. So testing them before their release and continue to test them after their release. So keep very close eyes on them, and we really learn. We really learn about it, and we gather information that also help our breeder to make decisions on release, also help our farmers to make decisions on variety selection.
Great. Well, we're excited about orange blossom. Thanks for telling us all about it. And Amanda, I'm sure we'll see you again very soon.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks a lot.